Welcome back to the channel. I'm David.
I'm Will.
From Trash on the Stack, and today we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to kick off our podcast series that'll come out either weekly or bi-weekly, and B, we wanted to talk about all of the Modern Horizons 3 spoilers that we've seen on social media. So join us and we'll go through some of the picks that we want to showcase.
When does Modern Horizons 3 come out?
June, I think the second week in June, I believe.
I think so too.
The death of Commander, Casual Commander, as some have called it.
Commander Horizons 3?
Commander Modern set in one.
Oops.
Lots of prospects to discuss today.
June 14.
June 14. So from a Commander perspective, which is obviously what our channel largely is,
we focus on.
Yep, there's a lot of cool things to talk about. So let's jump into it. Ululek Fused Atrocity.
Well, I think it's they because it's both of them. I don't know.
Good point. So you've got colorless white, colorless blue, colorless black, colorless red, colorless green. So 5 color or colorless. So it is effectively a 5-drop any way you cut it, right?
Yeah. Wooburg or 5 of nothing.
Or colorless or any mixture of it. So legendary creature, devoid, naturally. Whenever you cast an Eldrazi spell, you may pay colorless, so 2 colorless. If you do, copy all spells you control, then copy all other activated and triggered abilities you control. You may choose new targets for the copies. Mana abilities can't be copied. And it's a 2/5.
I think this is the face commander for the commander.
I believe so.
Which is odd that they have commander decks for a modern set. But that's neither here nor there. But I am confused by this. Very confused.
It looks confused about itself.
Like, I don't know. I'm sure I'm just over-processing it. And
I mean, it's obviously great in an Eldrazi deck. You can run it in a Changeling deck as well. Changeling Tribal, Eldrazi Tribal. Whenever you play an Eldrazi, so you'll obviously want a fair amount of that creature subtype in your commander or your deck. You may pay 2 colorless, so it has to be 2 waste, 2 colorless, right? So we're in colorless mana. If you do copy
the False God.
Yeah, Temple the False God pays for this right out of the gate. If you do copy all spells you control, then copy all other activated and triggered abilities you control. You may choose new targets for the copy.
So that means like you play the OG Ulamog, or the one that...
Yeah, so you've got Ululek out.
Yeah.
Right? And then you play...
Well, let's say you play the Kozilek because you draw up to 7.
Yep.
Well, I mean, that wouldn't work because then you'd... Hold on, let me find an Eldrazi that is worth something for...
So if you pay that 2, you copy all spells you control. So the card that you're playing, right, the creature that you're playing counts as the spell that you control. So you're going to copy the Eldrazi that you're playing. And then, well, it just says then, but then copy all other activated and triggered abilities you control. You may choose the targets for the copies.
So let's say he's on the field. You play the new Ulamog, the Defiler, which is whenever you cast a spell, target opponent exiles half their library rounded up. You pay the 2, so you would get a copy of the Ulamog, and then would you get... So you could essentially target...
So you would get the copy, even though it's a legendary creature, you would get the trigger copy before the legendary creature went away.
But you would get 2 of the triggers.
Yes.
So you would essentially have 4 opponents that have to exile half of their library, or 1 opponent that has to do it twice. That's insanity.
That's...
What in the actual...
That's bad.
How?
Yeah.
I mean...
And you can choose new targets for the copies, right? So to your point, you can You can split up the salt that you're dumping all over the table across opponents. You can pile it on a well-seasoned opponent if they're running away with the game.
Suck all of the moisture out of the room.
That seems absolutely just crazy. The artwork's absolutely beautiful too. I mean,
it isn't. Yeah, I think it is Ulamog and Kozilek fused together.
That would make sense.
Because you got over on one side the weird square geode distortion from Kozilek, and then the dusty tentacle weirdness of Ulamog.
Yep. Yeah, that's definitely like Ulamog's face.
Yeah, and then
what's supposed to be his head.
Kozilek's head has a face. Or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's like a lot of arms.
I mean, how do we feel about colored Eldrazi? Obviously, it's devoid, right? But
I mean, they've been a thing for a while since.
Well, colored Eldrazi spells with devoid have been a thing for a while, but like 5-color Eldrazi has not been a thing for a while.
True.
This is one of the first ones, right?
Yeah, I think this is the first.
I mean, we may see more in the set that haven't been spoiled yet, but
I don't know. They've gone too far.
I mean, effectively,
they never stop to ask if they should.
Yeah, right. It's true. I mean, I guess you could run all waste in it. You don't need to have colors in the deck. I feel like just a 5-color, actual 5-color would be tough.
Not really, because
I mean, just like
it just opens you up to more spells than just.
Well, true, but like you got to have a real.
But now you can actually play
filter, like a mana filter in place.
Well, now you can play all of the other devoid Eldrazi that technically are a color in their identity, but they.
I just mean if you're from a mana base perspective, if you're doing a 5-color mana base, you have some good filters,
just like any other
place, right? Like what Chromatic Ori and stuff like that lets you.
Chromatic Lantern,
yep.
Or Joiner Adept.
Yep.
It's not an Eldrazi, but it's an elf.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You need good filtering if you actually go 5-color route with it, though. But you can just go straight colorless with it, too.
Mm-hmm.
5-color is always nice, though, to Will's point, though, because you can get the best of all 5 colors, right, from a spell perspective.
I could see 5-color Eldrazi good stuff just being a thing.
As if you already couldn't pay to play. We're going to have more good stuff decks, right?
Yep.
All right, next.
Like 5-color needed another Ur-Dragon.
Yeah, right.
Like they don't.
All right, our next card is
It's a flip. It's a dual face.
Yep, it's a dual face. So Garden of Freyalise. As Garden of Freyalise enters the battlefield, you may pay 3 life. If you don't, it enters the battlefield tapped. Tap, add a green. So it's like a mega pain land.
Yeah.
Right? 1, 2, 3.
What
traumatic land?
A bolt land? So there. They came out in the Battle for Zendikar, I think. It was like the
3 life?
Yeah, the pay 3 life where they had a spell on the other side.
Oh, yeah.
I can see the black one. It's like 3 black. Reanimate something, I think. Or on the other side, it was pay 3 life, where it comes into play tapped. Add a black.
So, design harkening back to that previous set, potentially.
Yeah. I could look it up, but I'm just lazy and don't want to.
Flip side of that is Disciple of Freyalise. So it is a 3 green, so a 6-drop elf druid. When Disciple of Freyalise enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, you gain X life and draw X cards, where X is that creature's power. It's a 3/3. Seems not bad. I mean, a 6-drop for 3/3 is not great, but gaining X life, drawing X cards.
Well, the card draw
draw
aspect of it. There's other card draw that's better than this.
Yeah,
but this one has the added benefit of being a land.
Yeah,
and a land that can potentially come into play untapped.
Right.
Like it
seems like a saving the day last gasp, right? When you're down on your luck, about ready to get out, about ready to get knocked out. You play it, you gain X life, you draw X cards, and maybe find an answer.
You could do it that way, or like if you need to draw an answer, like you sacrifice. Like I can see this going in like my worms.
Yeah,
I sacrifice a worm. I get to gain 7. I draw 7. That 7 could give me an answer to what's going on.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, like, or if it is in my worms and I'm just not drawing land, or like my mana, like my ramp gets countered, like I can play the land. Like I can just make it a forest or a tap land or whatever.
Right.
I'd probably pay the 3 if it's
yeah. We all like options. Flip cards are nice for options, right?
Yeah.
All right, next up, we've got the Planeswalker flip card cycles, right? So I think there's 4 of them.
2, 3, 4, 5.
5? All right, first up, a Johnny Nakadal. Will's read all the books, so he'll be my speech corrector for some of these words. But Nakadal Pariah. So legendary creature, Cat Warrior. When a Johnny enters the battlefield, create a 2/1 white Cat Warrior creature token. Maybe he'll helm my Thundercats deck I've been wanting to put together for a while now. Whenever one or more other cats you control die, you may exile Johnny, return him to the battlefield transformed under his owner's control. So he flips into a Johnny Nakadal Avenger, legendary Planeswalker. +2 ability is put a 1/1 counter on each cat you control. Seems good. 0 ability, create a 2/1 white cat warrior creature token. When you do, if you control a red permanent other than a Johnny, he deals damage equal to the number of creatures you control to any target. That's a real cool Boros ability. That's a white and red ability if I ever heard one.
All you'd have to have is like Impact Tremors out as well.
Yeah.
Because that, like, this,
Yeah, that's a phenomenal 0 Planeswalker ability. -4, so its ultimate is each opponent chooses an artifact, a creature, an enchantment, and a Planeswalker from among the non-lane permanents they control and sacrifices the rest. That's a pretty decent ultimate for 4.
Yeah.
It comes in as a 3.
You only got to plus it once, so the second turn you have it, if you're not feeling like dealing any damage to anybody,
you kill everything that they hold dear. Scorched Earth.
You just rip the rug out from underneath them. And then you watch them fall on their face, and then they broke their mother's vase. And
that just seems... So a Johnny, the legendary creature, is a 2-drop on top of it, right? So you can have this out turn 2, theoretically. And then whenever one or more other cats you control die, you may exile and flip. It seems easy to have a cat die.
I was going to say, if you... And Boros, like, they do have sack outlets. Like, Goblin Bombardment is a thing.
Yeah.
And, like... it's easy.
Sometimes cats die for no reason, even when you're taking really good care of them.
Yeah, like you buy them special food and you love them, then they just diarrhea all over and die.
Yeah, they flip into this absolutely insane Planeswalker.
And they just kick down the door as this buff furry. It's like, whoa!
He does it. He's got an 8-pack in this. In this artwork. Impressive. Yeah, great Boros Planeswalker.
I think it'd be a fun commander to build around.
Oh yeah, commanders that flip into. He gets removed as a creature or a Planeswalker. Cast him again for 4, and then again for 6. He's cheap.
Yeah,
and I think most of these new Planeswalker flips are cheap, right? So. Next up, we've got Ral Monsoon Mage. So he's a 1 and a red. Instant sorcery spells you cast 1 less to cast. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell during your turn, flip a coin. If you lose the flip, Ral Monsoon Mage does 1 damage to you. If you win the flip, you may exile Ral. If you do, return him to the battlefield transformed under his owner's control. Might have to put this guy in my heads I win, tails you lose. I try to keep that fairly unedited.
I would probably make him the commander.
Commander?
Yeah.
So he flips into Rail, Leyline. Leyline. Oh, yep. Artwork's a little rough there.
It is.
Thunderbolts. Prodigy.
His finger's in the way.
Yeah, so Rail, Leyline, Prodigy enters the battlefield with an additional loyalty counter on him for each instant and sorcery spell you cast this turn.
That seems cool.
Yeah, that's a great storm.
You would almost want to lose the flip.
Yeah.
Because you deal the 1 damage. Oh, it's to you though.
Yeah, but still, if you've got some cantrips, right? Cast a couple instants and sorceries, you lose them.
It is a May if you win.
Okay.
So if you win, you can still keep him as the monsoon mage.
Yep.
And then keep loading your graveyard if you're going to storm off.
Yeah. Seems cool. I like the storm mechanic. Makes sense for a Ral Planeswalker. It's +1 ability. Until your next turn, instant sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Which is pretty. It's basically it's a legendary creature ability that's not static anymore, but is good.
It is still good.
It's -2. Rail deals 2 damage divided as you choose among 1 or 2 targets. Draw a card if you control a blue permanent other than Rail. Not bad. Kind of a weak middle ability.
It's like it's the blue red other sorcery, deal 2 damage divided as you choose.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't know. All I can think of is Electro Dominance. It's not Electro Dominance.
We'll find it. It'll be
it'll be somewhere.
It's ultimate, which probably makes it a little bit more fair because of its storm ability to put loyalty counters on it, because it comes in with 2, right? Its ult is 8. Exile the top 8 cards of your library. You may cast instant and sorcery spells from among them this turn without paying their mana costs.
They all get countered by the Vexing Bauble.
That's true. That's true.
But that seems pretty good because you're in blue-red, so you're probably going to manipulate the top of your deck somehow.
That's true.
To make it how you want it. Because you could scroll rack.
Yeah, 8 cards too. If this is an auto include in a storm deck, chances are at least half of those 8 cards are going to be...
Yeah.
Are going to shuck and jive and...
They're going to be
all that stuff with what you got out already.
Yeah, and you can play them without paying their mana cost, which is even better.
Yeah. And -8's not bad because of its ability to come in with additional loyalty counters too. I feel like that is a somewhat fair ultimate.
I mean, you gotta plan for him, that's for sure. He's not somebody that you just slam down turn 2.
You don't want to flip him early, I don't think.
I mean, you can play him turn 2, but you're not going to use the flip ability anytime soon.
Or, you arguably shouldn't, right? Unless you're really hurting and you need that -2 ability to draw. But, gosh, the first and second abilities are just not fantastic.
Yeah. Because,
you want to prepare for monsoon season, right? Yeah. So when you're ready to flood out all those instant and sorcery spells, you're like, boom, 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 flip. Comes in, and you've got another turn or 2 to ult him. That is how I think you break it.
Yeah. Because you play 4 spells, get him up to 6. That's still, you'd have to have him 2 turns.
Yep.
3 turns. To ult on the 3rd turn, he's out.
Yeah. Ideally, if you cantrip 3 or 4 times, you lose the flip. It flips on the 4th because you're going to put a loyalty count on for each instant sorcery spell you cast that turn. So it comes in with 2. So basically, you'll come in with 6.
Yeah.
You still have 2 turns
to get him up to 8.
Yep, of +1, reducing your instant and sorcery spell cast cost to get him up to 8.
Yeah.
To do his ult. Yeah.
It's not
as broken as a Johnny. I don't feel like.
No,
if you're playing Storm, if you're doing cantrips, if you're doing what Red Blue does, it's good.
Yeah, I would probably put him in my Varan deck.
Yeah,
maybe at least try him out.
Yeah,
because that deck just wants to do stuff.
Yep.
Might put him in Blanca either. Well, no, you can't go on Blanca.
No,
you can't. He's not allowed.
Black's green.
Yeah. The best color.
The best color. All right, our next flip Planeswalker. We've got Sorin of House Markov. Legendary creature, human noble, 1 in black. So again, super low cast cost. Lifelink, extort, everything you would hope and love from a vampire, obviously. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, exile Sorin of House Markov, then return him to the battlefield, transform under his owner's control. If you were playing vampires, or just any lifelink or extort mechanic, yeah,
if you're playing Orzhov, this is pretty good.
You're going to have plenty of abilities probably to flip him when you so choose, right? So he flips into Sorin Ravenous Neonate.
Yeah.
Artwork is a little over the last word. Apologies if that's incorrect.
Looks like it.
Maybe the only Planeswalker that I've ever seen with extort as a static ability. I don't know if I've ever seen that on a Planeswalker before.
No.
So it's +2, create a food token. I don't know why that's not a blood token for a vampire.
Because he's life gain and food is life gain.
Isn't blood token just less? Food is 2 life? I thought blood was 1.
Food is 3. Blood is you draw a card, I think.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Still, it's a vampire. I mean, I get it. It's lifelink. It's food, but...
I mean, I don't know why it doesn't make a...
I guess his legendary creature picture, he's like in front of a dinner table, so I guess that he's eating. That makes sense.
It's like little baby Sorin before he was a vampire.
And he just handsome man Sorin in like a military suit jacket. Negative...
Little baby boy.
-1 ability. So Sorin Ravenous Neonate deals damage equal to the amount of life you gain this turn to any target.
That's
very Orzhov thing. Yep, that makes sense.
You sacrifice two foods at 6.
Oh, that's true. So turn 1 when he flips, you create a... Well, turn 1 he flips, you create a food. Next turn, you can't create another food. So you could... Well, you can, but then you can't use his -1 ability, though, right?
No, and then... Right.
So you presumably are running other things that are doing lifelink or extort or black, you lose life, I gain life type of shenanigans, right?
Anything with extort.
Yeah.
Or you just extort anything.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, because he has the static extort ability, I guess, turn 1, you create a food token. Turn 2, you cast anything, any number of times, and extort it, and then you pop his -1 ability.
Yeah.
Not bad. To any target, so straight to face. To creatures, you can use them as removal.
As I said, it'd be decent removal, not the best.
So it's ultimate, -6. Gain control of target creature. It becomes a vampire in addition to its other types. Put a lifelink counter on it if you control a white permanent other than that creature or Sorin. So he'll come in as a 3. It's alt is 6. +1 abilities, +2. So you get there in 2 turns, effectively. You get 2 turns, and he still will have 1 left. So you're not depleting him, basically, using his 2+1 abilities, and then the ultimate, he doesn't go away, effectively.
Yeah.
Not bad. Very, very Olivia Voldaren from a vampire perspective.
Innistrad vampire is very...
Yeah. Take creature, make vampire, make it lifelink. Right? And because Sorin doesn't go away,
right.
his -1 ability is only going to get better every time you ult him. Now, granted, as an ultimate, you're only getting 1 thing. I don't know how many times you're going to ultimate him in a game.
And 6 is pretty steep to do more than once.
Yeah. You want to make sure you're stealing the right thing.
Yeah. Play better Magic.
Yes. Steal the right thing.
Yes.
All right. Next up, we've got Tamiyo, Inquisitive Student. A 1-drop. Just a blue.
They're cheap.
Legendary creature, Moonfolk Wizard, flying. Whenever Tamiyo Inquisitive Student attacks, investigate. He'll create a clue token. It's an artifact. Pay 2, sacrifice, draw a card. When you draw your 3rd card in a turn, exile Tamiyo, then return to the battlefield transformed under her owner's control. First of all, just as a 1-drop, 0/3 flyer, right? So you can, very similar to Ornithopter, you can attack with her.
Well, just whenever she attacks, you investigate.
Yeah, so you're making a clue token.
Making a clue token.
But there's really no... There's no implicit reason why your opponent needs to block her because they're not taking damage either. Yeah. Right? Similar to Ornithopter.
Try to kill her,
try to stop you from creating clue tokens. So when you draw your third card of your turn, which is not hard to do in blue anyway.
Brainstorm.
Even if you're not playing, even if you're not doing a clue theme here.
Just brainstorm.
So she's going to flip into Tenio Seasoned Scholar.
Which is blue-green.
Yep, which is a blue-green planeswalker, yep.
So Simic. We needed more Simic.
So she'll come in with 2 loyalty counters, her +2 ability. Until your next turn, whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, it gets -1, -0 to end turn. Not fantastic.
I mean, it's pretty...
it's not bad.
Yeah.
For the first ability, I guess. -3, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. If it's a green card, add 1 mana of any color. Interesting.
Yeah.
Kind of ramp. I mean, you could go get a ramp spell back. It kind of is ramp itself.
Or you could get your bounce spell or your counter spell.
Or your brainstorm that made you flip to Mio.
Yeah, you draw a spell. It is weird that it costs 3. It only comes in with 2. So you have to plus it.
You have to plus it once
before you can do the middle ability.
Yep.
Yeah. Unless you're playing a proliferate deck. But
yeah,
if you do play brainstorm turn 2 to flip this turn 2, you're not.
No.
I mean, what do you got?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's interesting.
The ultimate is -7, so effectively you've got a pluser 2, 3 times?
4 times.
4 times?
3.
Well, 3 times plus what comes in is 2. That'll give you 8, right? So it's a -7 ability. Draw cards equal to half the number of cards in your library rounded up. You get an emblem with you have no maximum hand size. That seems pretty decent. That's a very cool thing.
It's like you traumatize yourself, but instead of your graveyard, they go into your hand. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, draw cards equal to half the number of cards in your library. Rounded up. Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, that means very thematic for her title, right? Seasoned Scholar. You're increasing your spell book of things to play. Not bad. All right, last of the new flip planeswalkers, we've got another 1-drop. Grist, Voracious Larva. Awesome artwork, by the way. It looks like it's wearing a skull face.
Yeah.
Legendary creature insect, Death Touch. The 1-drop Death Touch. Whenever Grist, Voracious Larva, or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, if it entered from your graveyard, or you cast it from your graveyard, you may pay green. If you do, exile Grist and return it to the battlefield transformed under its owner's control. And it's a 1/2. So in terms of how easy is it to get this to flip, Will?
I'd say fairly easy.
Yeah.
Because it's in Golgari, because the backside is black-green.
Yep.
So even if you can't get someone to attack into it, because it's a 1/2 Death Toucher, like that's going to keep a lot of people back. Like it's not. I mean,
any recursion, any flashback, dredge, right? All of those count as casting from the graveyard.
Yep. And all you got to do is pay 1. So it's like Gravecrawler.
Yeah.
Like you play Gravecrawler, it'd be pretty easy to flip it.
Yep.
A lot of Golgari synergies. A lot of the Golgari cards.
Yeah. Do exactly that.
Yeah.
It flips into Grist the Plague Swarm. Very sliver looking. Scythes as arms and hands. It's +1 ability, so it's going to come with 3 loyalty counters. +1 ability, create a 1/1 black and green insect creature token, then mill 2 cards, put a death touch counter on the token if a black card was milled this way. Seems not bad. That might be one of the better first abilities on these Planeswalker cards, I feel like. If you're playing Golgari. I mean,
this and the Ajani one, I think, are the best.
Ajani's pretty good. White and Boros can use all the help it can get.
As far as Commander goes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the self-mill is good, and then putting a death touch counter on something is
just
good
icing
too.
On the cake, right? It's cherry on top.
Yeah, because, like, you put it on the 1/1 insect, and that, like I said, people aren't going to attack into a death toucher.
Yep.
Very often.
Yep, very often, yeah.
I do it, mostly because I'm an idiot. But it's okay.
-2 ability to destroy target artifact or enchantment. Very green thing. I like it. It feels very black and green. This flipped.
Yeah.
Planeswalker. It feels like it has an appropriate mix of both things.
I was gonna say it's like putrefy, but that was a creature or artifact.
Yeah. It's ultimate -6, so it comes with 3 loyalty counters. You've got to do your +1 ability 3 times on the fourth turn after this flips. Yeah. For each creature card in your graveyard, create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 1/1 black and green insect. Yuck. Yuck.
Just any reanimator. It's just, oh my gosh.
You're getting all the stuff that is in the graveyard from an ability standpoint, except it's a 1/1.
And you don't remove it from your graveyard. It just makes a
copy
of
it. You can keep
that everything is still in your graveyard.
Well,
so
it's very what is it? Is it Kinzu the Bleak Coven? That when your stuff dies, you can pay to make like a 1/1 version of it.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's either Kinzu or there's another one from the Mom set or the Aftermath set. It's black that does that.
It's the demon. I don't know. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, this
seems good.
Yeah.
I like the artwork, but I am just a fan of all things black. From an artwork perspective, it just looks sick.
Yeah.
Alright, thanks for watching. Depending on how many more spoilers come out before the set actually comes out in 2 weeks, maybe we'll do a follow-up episode, but if not, be sure to stay tuned, follow along, like and subscribe. We'll have our normal cadence of Commander gameplay videos coming out. We'll be buying boxes and cracking packs. Follow along on all social media so you can know what we've got going on at any moment. Appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks.
Thanks.
See ya.